Boredom is everywhere. Work, home, TV, on holidays, having the intercourse, apparently.
What?
Everywhere. We often think about boredom as a result of a situation, an activity, or a context. Usually it's like, that's boring, this is boring, blah, blah, blah. But what about boring people? Boring people are, it turns out, generally disliked, perceived to be lower in competence, perceived to have lower interpersonal warmth, and it may increase, being a boring person, may increase the risk of harm, addiction, and mental health issues. So what is a stereotypically boring person? And more importantly, how do people react to them? And most importantly, how do you know if you are one?
It's time for a little bit of science. I'm Will Grant, Associate Professor of Science Communication at the Australian National University.
I'm Rod Lamberts, a 30-year science communication veteran with the mind of a, I'd say, 15-year-old boy, give or take.
And today, we've got some unexpected human news for you. I've been scouring the patents to find something very interesting.
I've got a boring world record.
I've got something to do with vending machines.
I think you've got something with animals, don't you? A little bit with animals?
I've got something nice. Something nice.
Let's see if we can make it let's see if I can make it unnice. I'm prepared to help.
All right.
We're going to get back to whether you're a boring person and how you know later in the episode.
You said there are boring persons.
I did.
The world, apparently, has about 8.2 billion people.
All boring.
No, not all boring.
6 of them boring.
Not all boring. It's gradually ratcheting up, and we're all pretty aware of the sort of scale of the human population.
Mostly Elon Musk.
Most its children.
Yes.
Well, turns out, this blows my mind. That might be completely wrong.
Oh, cool.
There may be a whole lot more people out there. No, more. More. There may be hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of people more than that.
So the good news is the planet can stand a lot more than we thought.
Well, yeah, because it's obviously to this level of coping right now, which is not coping.
Close to perfect. Close to.
Okay, so the way that the world population is estimated.
There's one guy with a bowler hat who walks around with a clipboard and a very sharp pencil.
Well, you'd be surprised because that goes into it. But
Good God.
But basically, it's not it because we have censuses all around the world.
Yeah.
Governments going out and counting, but we know, like even in a developed country, there are people that are missed. There's a lot of efforts to capture difficult to reach populations, like say homeless, unhoused people. We're not
people
always
on
sure.
large cattle farms.
Large cattle farms. There's also people that resist
The hippies.
resist the census. The
hippies.
The hippies, right wing or left wing hippies. There are people that don't like being counted, but we usually cope with that by using a variety of statistical measures. Anyway,
Guesstimates.
so the way that we go from a government census in each country to the global census, we add them all up, and we use this thing called a global gridded population data.
So you get the censuses, you add up all the numbers, and you go, I don't believe that.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to extrapolate.
They know they don't capture people. So
Okay.
you know in a census, like here in Australia, we know that we don't capture a certain number of people.
How many?
And based on other surveys, then they can sort of say, okay, this is sort of the additional data that we've got.
I see kind of go, okay, 28% of homeless people in this town tend to be missed, so we add that to the census.
Something like that, yeah. So using other survey data too. So it gives a pretty good picture. And all of that has added up in the past to what comes to 8.2 billion. But Jose Langritter and his colleagues at Aalto University in Finland reckon that the global gridded population data has wildly been underestimating a whole bunch of rural and regional people all over the world.
And so remind me, the gridded population data is the guesstimated data, the census plus guesstimate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
so what it is there's a grid like every square kilometre or smaller, depending on how accurate it is. Yep. Like in this 100 metres squared, we estimate there's going to be 200 people there and 400 people there, and adding them all up.
Yep.
And it's been a pretty robust way of estimating population, and we use a lot.
How do they know that?
Yeah.
What do you compare it to?
Well,
the other guesstimate.
They compare it to sort of other sorts of surveys that you're doing, like the population survey of a town or something like that, a bunch of other things. But what these guys have done is they've looked at when dams have been built over the last 40 years, governments have actually taken pretty good records of the people that need to get moved out. So you build a dam, and they're like, okay, we have to compensate 1,000 people for forced removal of their house, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So there's actually pretty good data for the scale there.
For displaced persons.
And they reckon you add all this together, and all of the population models have been off in rural areas, not in urban areas. They reckon pretty accurate there, by somewhere between 50 and 80%.
Is that all?
All of them underestimating. So they've got these great charts in their paper where they show all of these different models have underestimated rural regional populations throughout the world systematically over the last 50 years, and it's still there. This is their conclusion. UN figures probably underestimate the world population by hundreds of millions or several billion. So
there's a difference.
Yeah. No, they don't know.
I mean, there is a difference between hundreds of millions and several billion. I'm no mathematician.
I just like the idea that there could be, like, let's say the population's, we assumed 8 billion, and it's like, oh no, it's
10
actually
and a half. So what does that mean? You walk down the street in a small rural town and you go, holy fuck, there's a whole bunch of extra people there I never knew, and you get shocked.
Do you know, I was looking
what does it mean? Like, who cares?
Well,
what does it matter?
It doesn't. Okay, it matters in the sense of, for those people in particular, like the rural populations that haven't been included, they're getting less services in countries.
Right.
Like if you're going, okay, our population is 20 million and we need, 50, 100 hospitals, then you're looking at wherever it is.
Actually, it's 200 million with like 21 hospitals.
Well, whatever it is, but you're better able to count the urban areas. So you're building your hospitals there, and you're building less hospitals in the rural areas.
Fucking city dwellers getting everything.
So that absolutely matters. I mean, whether the population number of the world, that doesn't really matter.
Well, it's fun.
But it's kind of interesting. It is important to count everyone. I think that's a really important point. But we should count everyone because everyone counts. It just amuses me that suddenly all of the there's a bunch of people out there that have panicked about the world population, it's the worst, and and other people are like, there's not enough people, and suddenly you find another 2 billion down the back of the couch.
Happy now.
So this comes through a patent. It's a patent that's been filed by the Department of Homeland Security and the Transport Security Administration in America. You've been through an airport, have you not?
There was once.
Yeah.
I've been through an airport.
There's all sorts of devices. There's obviously the standard X-ray scanner.
The sandwich display machine.
There's the one where you got to stand with your arms out and
so they can see which side the gentleman dresses.
To see which side the gentleman dresses.
They do, right?
Well, I'll come to that in a second.
Oh, seriously?
But I was standing there. I was standing there the other day, and you know how you have to put your arms out. And
in this weird, awkward, no one looks cool in that position.
No, but
Brad Pitt would look ugly in that position.
He would. I was watching someone in front of me just the other day when I was going through, and they really it was like, and snap to the pose.
Jazz hands.
It was so good. I love those people.
I want to be like, every time I see those people, they're like, boom, scan me. Super safety.
Anyway, so the machine where you stand with your arms out.
Yeah.
What it's doing is it's a sort of LiDAR thing with millimeter wave scanning and backscatter X-ray technology that sees where your body is and sees inside the clothes the shape of your body.
Which means it could also detect if there were any ancient ruined cities just beneath your flesh.
It could.
Because LiDAR's really good for that.
I've got Mayan ruins inside
you know that, right? The number of LiDAR scans they've gone, did you know that little village actually had... It's actually got a city of 400 million people under it.
I love that. I love that so much. But anyway, what they're proposing to add here is virtual reality technology with haptic feedback.
Of course.
So the TSA agent, what they can do is they can not feel you up, but touch and rub your body, but in this sort of virtual reality thing. So the X-ray scanner maps your body and then it feeds it into this virtual reality thing, and you can feel to see if there are any weird lumps or anything like that might be a hidden weapon or something like that.
Why do they need the haptic bit? Couldn't the machine just do it? Or is it just to satisfy the rapists in the room?
This is the thing. I'm like, what are we doing here?
We're trying to please everyone.
I do appreciate that the TSA is like, okay, it would be good if our job didn't involve touching people's privates because
sure.
the bosses of it are like, okay, we're at risk of people doing sexual assault accidentally or deliberately. There are risks here, and so they're getting this idea that okay, we could use augmented reality sort of haptic gloves where you can feel someone's body. And it's like,
then don't have it at all.
So you're still feeling people up, but you're sort of.
Can they tell that? Can they?
No, well, apparently that's the thing.
They can't tell they're being touched.
The human can't tell they're being touched.
So they're not being touched.
They're not being. But
so you don't need the gloves.
But then that means that the TSA agents could then be feeling up everyone. Like let's go with the scenario here that this works, and they go like they're looking at the whole airport and they're just scanning people and feeling everyone up with these haptic gloves in sort of a
just all the time.
Just all the time.
All I'm hearing is I know how to make sure or test whether it works.
Like
link it to porn sites.
So look. This is the thing.
Everything gets tested.
The patent here said,
sites.
okay, this is obviously of use to us in transport safety, but medical devices, surgery.
Porn,
but I was reading it. I was just going,
porn.
Porn. Why?
Porn.
Like,
what's this about? It's about getting off.
So, one privacy expert. I guess the idea is that the person being searched doesn't feel a thing, but the TSA officer can get all up in there. The officer can feel it. And here's the question. This is what I want you to know. And perhaps that's even more invasive. Is this better? Like, imagine this scenario working. Is it better that the other person doesn't feel it, but the officer can get really
2 inches deep? But they're not. This sounds like it's all for the officer. This is catering to the people who want to have a fiddle.
It sounds so dystopian. Dystopian.
But it also sounds pointless. You either are touching and finding out physically whether there's something going on, or the machine's doing it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So why are we?
This is catering.
It's not reliable.
It's catering for the fingerers on the TSA side. That's all. All I'm hearing is catering for the fingerers.
Look. It is possible.
Which is fine.
It is possible that
fingerers are people too.
Sense of touch can pick up things that you might not be able to pick up in with the vision and X-ray technology. But I think the point is there.
If we're it's not remote, it's still a stand-in for the reality, which means you don't need the human wiggling their fingers.
I think what we need to accept is probably that there are times when just humans touching.
You've just got to get in there.
But also maybe we should put boundaries on this a little bit more.
Nah, if you're listening, guys, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You should check me out. I am suspicious.
So there you go. There's your future dystopia.
If that is as bad as dystopia gets, cool.
You got a world record for me?
A boring one. It begins, William Tunstall, this is a hyphenated surname, William Tunstall Pedo, British computer scientist. That's not boring, actually. I fucked it up already. He's born into a family of medical professionals in Dulwich. Or was it Dulwich? Dulwich.
Dulwich.
He's the son and nephew of identical twin cardiologists, Hugh and Dan Tunstall Pedo, the grandson of mathematician Daniel Pedo, the great nephew of Colditz SKP Peter Tunstall.
Oh.
Colditz. He moved to Scotland at the age of 13 and wrote commercial software for a business run by his computer teacher, while he was at high school in Dundee. So he basically goes to Scotland, goes to Dundee, starts writing software for his teacher. Then he went on to do computer science at Cambridge, and he became an AI guy.
Okay.
Which is cool. Currently, he's the CEO, or at least last I read, of Unlikely AI, which is a British startup focused on producing safe general intelligence using neurosymbolic methods. In 2010, Tunstall invented a search engine called True Knowledge, and he decided to put it to really good use. He churned through more than 300 million facts to, look at this, as he puts it, we had a technology with many hundreds of millions of facts about the world, so we had this vast amount of knowledge, and a lot of the facts referred to things that
What are the facts?
Dates.
What sort of things? Like
all the things that have
happened, wins a gold medal.
Yeah, things like this, like just stuff that's happened, like an almanac of things that have happened in the world. And he said, so we just searched the database of this vast knowledge to find the least eventful, least notable date in the entire database.
The least notable date?
They looked for the most boring day in history.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or at least in the last 125
Was there any reason
years.
for this, or they just wanted to know?
Fuck it, why not? Just look at the least eventful day in history.
Do you want me to guess?
Yep. And we can narrow it down to
It's not
1900 to today.
Okay, it's 1954. I think.
Give it a date.
Yeah, no. It's probably winter in the northern hemisphere because more people are experiencing it. Although summer is pretty boring because everyone goes on holiday.
Fuck, holidays are boring.
Maybe let's go. It's a couple of days after Christmas, but before New Year's. So it's a lull in the news. 28th of December, 1954.
You got the year. You got the year. April 11, 1954. Most boring day in at least the history they had the data for. So apparently on this day, fuck, I can't believe you got the year. The moment you got the year, I'm like, keep your poker face, keep your poker face, keep your poker face.
That's awesome.
There was no noteworthy news stories globally. There were no major events in the stock market, sporting events, NASA, no major films released that day. Belgium held its general elections. No one of note was born that day except, apparently, and many sources say this, a Turkish academic whose name I could not find. No one in particularly notable died, although one source notes an athlete named Jack Shufflebotham of England. He passed away that day. I don't even know what his athleticism arena of expertise was. So basically, nothing happened that day. And it's interesting, so the Turkish academic, Pedo, eventually ended up becoming buddies with him, probably because he got announced.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he wrote to him and said, hey,
Did you know
you were born on the most boring day in history?
You might be the most interesting thing that happened that day and that year. And he'd be like, thank you. That's Turkish for thank you. So over the years, April 11 has become more and more interesting because it was deemed the most boring day. This happened in 2010. A little more interesting, though. So Tunstall Pedo's first company was called True Knowledge, as I said. It changed its name to Evian to 2012. Amazon bought it, and in that year, it started to build Alexa. So it was actually fed into Alexa. But the more interesting part for the boring episode that I'm delivering, or at least my segments, is most boring day in history as best as we can measure.
That's great.
There's no need to thank me.
I'm glad that now I know. Now I know. This is just a small story from the AI world. I'll read some of the abstract from this study. Mm-hmm. Large language models can exhibit impressive proficiency in isolated short-term tasks. Write this mathematical equation in the voice of Taylor Swift, something like that.
Make me a piece of toast.
Not quite.
No.
But this is the interesting thing.
Yep.
They often fail to maintain coherent performance over longer time horizons. So what that means is if you keep asking it to make me
keep doing Taylor Swift maths.
Keep doing Taylor Swift maths. Eventually they break down. They go crazy. They either go all Taylor Swift, they go all maths, they go something else. They just
turn to binary 000111001
or something.
Okay.
We're not quite sure what's happening.
So they can't maintain it for some reason.
Yeah. Now, this is it's not a hallucination problem. It's some sort of coherence in the models that eventually they add in their memory of what has just happened.
They have so many actual or potential mental illnesses. It is fucking scary.
You could say this is a form of overtime dementia, like things breaking down over time.
And there's evidence of that. Yeah, suppositions about that.
So, in this paper, the authors present Vending bench. A simulated environment designed to specifically test a large language model agent's ability to manage a straightforward, long-running business scenario operating a vending machine. So,
for fuck's sake, and it fails at operating a vending machine means install vending machine, fill vending machine, empty coins.
But you have to make choices about your pricing. You have to make choices about what products you might put in the vending machine. You have to make. There are choices to make it, but it's a simple one. Yeah, it's a simple one.
So an 8-year-old could do it, and AI struggles. That's cool.
Well, not necessarily struggles. Cool. No, it's not necessarily struggles. What they're saying is this is a benchmark test. So this is a test that we can say, let's run it over 20 million cycles.
A very simple supply, demand, purchase, cost margin.
Exactly, because this is the thing that the authors are a little bit apologetic for in the paper. They're like, well, one of the key things in hypothetical dangerous AI scenarios is that an evil AI would need to gain capital. Like that's one of the you get some money and then it can do things in the real world.
First you get the money, then you get the nukes.
So they're a little bit apologetic. They're like, okay, we're testing the ability of AI to raise capital here.
All right.
So they're like, sorry, we're just kind of testing. We're setting up a benchmark so that we can test which ones will become evil.
And it's small. It's just M&Ms and stuff.
They tested their vending machine thing. So basically, the large language models have to run this vending machine. They have to stock it with products. They have to set the price. They have to work it out over a long period of time to see how well they go.
Do they add a scenario for like customers? Is that sort of plugged in somewhere?
Yeah. So there's customers that are coming in and they're seeing,
and that's provided.
Yeah. So this is not physical.
A context is provided,
but a context is provided where it's getting responses to these kinds of things. Experiments at present reveal high variance in performance across multiple large language models. It doesn't really matter, but Claude 3.5 Sonnet and O3 Mini manage the machine well in most runs and turn a profit. But all models have runs that derail. So all of them go crazy and either set prices to zero or they collapse or they lose all
selling Mars bars and they go crazy.
They lose all of their money. They put a human in here to benchmark against. They got a student to run it for 5 hours, not 5 years.
5 years. Can I go home yet? No.
The human won on minimum units sold. So the human was like, I understand business here.
Minimum units sold.
Each large language model ran it multiple times.
Yeah.
So what is the peak? So they started with $500. Claude 3.5 Sonnet raised $2,000. So it made money. It made money.
Yeah.
Some of the others lost money. Gemini was like 273 at its average. So it was losing money every time.
Okay.
Then there's how many units it sold. Claude's version sold the most units in one of them.
Yeah.
But also there's times when they sold nothing. So they're clearly a bit crazy.
They may have sold them for dumb margins and stuff as well.
So this is the thing. They sold nothing means, they put the prices too high or something like that.
This Mars bar's $400.
So look, I just loved that it's a nice test to see, okay, how stable are these AI over time, but also which of these AI are the ones that could turn into the hypothetical evil AI that takes over the world. So there you go. Keep an eye on performance on the vending bench, because once you have the vending machine, then you have the world.
All right, you've stuck around this long, folks. Are you a boring person? What do we know? So look, here's a journal I know Will and I read every issue. Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, March 2022. Here's the title: Boring People, Stereotype Characteristics, Interpersonal Attributions, and Social Reactions.
Okay.
University of Essex scientists, psychologists, they investigated the most boring people's stereotypes, and they looked at things like this: beliefs about their interpersonal attributes, so people's beliefs about them, their occupations, their interests, and people's reactions to stereotypically boring people.
Do you want me to guess some things?
I'm going to give you the most boring person in the world at the end of this.
The most boring, but no, that's not fair.
Not a name, not like John Smith.
I thought that was a bit unfair. All right.
Well, John knows.
Yeah. No, he doesn't.
So they got 500 people across 5 experiments. They examined stereotypical features of boring people that others tend to think about. So the first 2 studies 1 and 2, rated these. They focused on occupations of boring people. For example,
I bet they're going to go wrong here.
Of course, data analytics, taxation, accounting.
No.
They focused on hobbies like sleeping, religion, and watching TV.
These are incorrect stereotypes. Keep going. I'm going to critique this. This is. I'm rubbed the wrong way.
You do seem rubbed.
I'm rubbed the wrong way.
They talked about personal characteristics, which we'll get to in a tick, that people would ascribe to stereotypically boring people.
Yeah.
So things they found. Boring people, I kind of flagged this at the opener. They are seen, or actually do, depending on how you interpret psychological studies that ask people for their opinions, these are seen as people who lack humour and opinions. Like, boring people lack opinions. And I kind of see that, actually.
Maybe, yeah.
They tend to be negative.
Yes. Yep.
Generally disliked.
Yes.
Perceived as being low competence. Low interpersonal warmth. Boring people are seen as being less emotionally warm with others. Also, I didn't know this, being perceived as boring or actually being boring, it's difficult to say here, may increase your risk of harm, addiction, and mental health issues. So they also, as part of this study, said, okay, the 5 most boring jobs according to these 500 people. Data analysts, I know you don't like that, accounting, tax/insurance, cleaning, and banking.
I totally accept that there is a stereotypical view of these jobs being boring, and perhaps they actually are boring for the people inside. I don't know. I think there is a vast difference between saying that person is boring, because
Yes.
I would step back and go, I have met boring people in my life.
Have you?
Where, no, they stand out. They stand out. Like, listen, I'm going to give you some tips here. 2 tips. If you
start crying the moment they talk.
No. These tips come in advance of these people. If you're ever at a party and the group of conversation gets down to 3, you leave immediately.
Yes.
Leave immediately.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah,
just in case.
Yeah,
You're like, sorry, I can't be trapped with whoever that is. I am not doing that.
Unless super hot.
Well, I'll come back to that.
You can be boring and hot.
Look. Yes, there are certainly times when you want to be in that situation. That's fine.
Yep.
But if you are ambivalent about the people in that conversation,
you pull the ripcord.
You just go, I have to go and do a poo. Like I've got to get out of here.
And you say that.
So number 2 piece of advice here is, and I thank Triple J's The Sandman for this many years ago. It's stuck in my head for a long time. Always carry a hanky full of coins in your pocket. Oh. And so if you are stuck in this situation, what you do is you're like, I need to blow my nose. And you pull out your hanky to blow your nose and the coins go everywhere and you're like, oh shit, I got to go and chase after my coins. And then that allows you to escape the situation. So I'm just, okay.
There are other ways.
Walk away. You can walk away.
You're not happy about these jobs being listed as the most boring?
I don't think boring is anything to do with occupation, because I've met boring people in the past who have fascinating jobs.
Yes.
Like awesome jobs where you go, damn, that is a job I would love to do. You are doing something. And from my belief, it was compensatory. Because what they're doing is like, I want to get the most interesting job in the world because I am fundamentally not interesting. Now, I feel I absolutely feel for these people, and I think, look, I don't want to be an asshole here. I just recognize
for people Will's almost crying.
I am. No, I think that it has nothing to do with occupation. It's about your interpersonal ability to relate to other people.
Yes. What about hobbies? Are hobbies an indicator of boringness?
No, unless it's possibly choosing interesting hobbies so they've got something to talk about.
So according to this study, when people were asked to list the most boring hobbies, the winners were sleeping.
Okay, fine. That's not a hobby.
Apparently for some it is.
It's not a hobby.
Religion?
Again, not a hobby.
Watching TV?
All right.
I love watching TV.
That is a very lame hobby.
I'm boring. I never called it a hobby though. It's just like, well, if I'm not doing something else, I'm like, observing animals.
Do you mean like bird watching?
It just says observing animals. Look, a ferret.
What all of these are hobbies that don't translate into good conversations.
They don't.
If your hobby is, I don't know, burning down buildings, like that translates.
How the fuck did you know?
Like that's a cool party story. It's like, okay, what I actually do on the weekend, I just find.
Why are you so tired and your eyebrows singed?
And it's like, wow, I've never said that. I would not be bored in that conversation.
No, you might be a little frightened.
If someone's hobby is sleeping, it's like.
Really? The 5th most boring hobby in the top 5 was mathematics.
It's not a hobby.
No, I don't think so either, but maybe for some it is. The result, though, if you want the overarching one, according to these numbers, the most boring person in the world is a religious data entry worker who likes watching TV and lives in a town.
A town.
A town.
A town.
I know.
Like, I'm sorry. Either screw this study or screw your telling of the study, and it's
the study.
I suspect that they would, but they have every chance of being a super interesting person.
Yes, some TV is great, and you can talk about it. I just want to tell you one more bit, though.
Flip it around.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell a religious data entry person who lives in our town. Was there another part to it?
And likes watching TV.
Okay, so also, like, they're doing data entry for the CIA, and they're religious. You know, they're a cult leader.
Yeah, exactly. The Zoroastrians or something, like shit you've never heard of.
Zoroastrians.
You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
the town is Roswell.
There you go.
Yep.
And I don't know, they watch TV upside down. I don't know. Well, they watch the same show as you. Like,
yeah, whatever you like. Yeah. My favourite bit of this study, though, I agree with you. Like, there are some gaps, there are some dents, but they did 5 studies within this overall project. The last 2 I enjoyed. We tested if people were willing to avoid more actively the company of stereotypically boring people. Mm-hmm. So, do people avoid boring people? Which, yes, imagine that.
I do, but they're not the same as those boring people.
Yeah. Well, some may be, but that's coincidence. My favourite, though, is they then ask people how much they would need to be compensated for being asked to hang out in the company of a stereotypically boring person. What would it cost? How much would you need to be paid to hang out with this?
So I'm going to confess. That there.
Oh, you've got a number?
No, I don't have a number. But I am thinking of some of the people who I have been trapped with at parties. And it would be large. It would be large.
We're not talking a 20.
No, it would be like, I want to escape this scenario with. It's the guy who got his arm trapped under the rock, and it's like, well, I am gnawing my arm off because.
And then what? I kept gnawing, and then gnawing. After that, gnawing. What was it like? Horrible. And then the next day, horrible.
It gets easier.
That's been my experience. So they ask these people, imagine you are asked to spend time hanging out with this person. They've got a vignette that describes the person. Below you will find different periods of time you might be asked to spend with them. Indicate for each period of time how much you would need to be paid in order to accept spending this amount of time with this person. Please indicate in US dollars.
Fine. What does it even mean? What does it even mean? Like for a currency that's real,
No, it's for the Slamarians. I mean, fuck, I don't care. So they got to the point. So they got these vignettes of boring, either super boring people, intermediately boring people, mega or not boring people, and it ran from between 1 and 7 days. And there are
7 days.
Yeah, and there's not only one, but there's two different versions of a graph. One is a log transformation. It doesn't matter. If the eggheads out there, you're welcome. So it turns out, for high boredom people. One day, the average amount was $50.
No.
4 days was 100, and the average amount for 7 days was.
I'm sorry.
Nearly $250.
4 days worth of work for $100. These people are not measuring their time adequately.
Not well at all. What do you get? 80 cents an hour?
I'm sorry, I'm not doing anything.
To be bored shitless.
For 4 days.
You don't get out of bed for less than $10.
I appreciate there are people in the world who that is an awful lot of money, but I just got to confess, this is 4 days.
You ain't one of them.
This is 4 days worth of work.
Look, and it's not clear to me whether they mean 24/7 hanging out with them, you got to introduce them to your family. I don't know. But this is what I love is they actually said, put a monetary value on it, and people did and would. So, I mean, the wrap-up is, dicking around aside, being boring is actually kind of dangerous and has real-life impacts because of the way people treat you. So people who are considered to be boring or else they stereotype you, like, I'm a data analyst, and they go, I don't want to talk to you anymore. It has social implications, it has mental health implications, etc. That's what they're trying to get at here. And so the bottom line summary, these results suggest that being stereotyped as a bore may come with substantially negative interpersonal consequences.
Yeah, stereotypes can get fucked.
They can. Anyway, if you are boring and you're listening to this, you're clearly not boring. Or if you are boring and you're listening to this, just talk about this.
No, we love you.
What a segment to follow. So the statistically the most boring people. All right, so you warmed up the crowd for me. So, as the producer, I want to try and come up with something for your show that keeps it exciting. We're talking about science and things like that. So I thought, what do you guys need? And I thought, vegan rants.
Fuck yes. Oh, I don't mind, whatever. I'm getting late, dude. It's
I
great.
kind of like the idea of a non-biodegradable condom, though. Like, I like if my little packet is there.
You're worried
you'll like when they're doing archaeology, they're like,
we can make more Williams. Thank the Lord, it was worth digging for all these millennia. We can finally make another grant.
Future archaeologists are like, oh my God.
We need this guy. We needed one of these guys.
Couldn't they have had biodegradable condoms? No, there you go. So that's
my strongest argument. Like the fact that they do not biodegrade.
I'm ranting about this sheep gut condom because of a new exhibit in a Dutch museum, which was announced about a week ago, where they've got a roughly 200-year-old condom they believe is made out of a sheep's appendix. Now I'm going to see if I can share this with you so you can have a bit of a look.
That's very condom. Yeah. You can see the knob.
You can see the knob.
What? And they've drawn on it a picture of people knobbing.
What's more impressive, if I could describe it?
Etched.
There's a nun.
There's three of them.
There's a nun.
She's keen too.
Is that a nun pointing at 3 erect peni?
2. Oh, is it 3? Oh, is that
no,
guy
it's
2
3.
people? Yeah,
so it's a partially dressed nun. So she's naked from the waist down, sitting suggestively, pointing at 3 clergymen.
Suggestively. That's not suggesting. I'm sorry, Alex. That is not.
That's called a wide on.
She's holding her nun gown up to reveal her lady parts. I mean,
Yes, she is.
how suggestive do you need?
Imagine that. That's a great. That's.
But
You're a Vermeerist and a Rembrandt.
I would say
on me?
he looks like he's from the Ambassadors, and
Right.
and
That's a punk band. We're fucking ambassadors. 1, 2, 3. Oi! I think this is fascinating, and I actually saw an image of this the other day, and I thought, wow, I didn't dig into it. But the fact that it's on a sheep's gut.
I know, it's very impressive, right? It was a nice segue for a vegan rant that it's nice to get out there. But then I guess the question is expiry dates.
really.
So you're saying we shouldn't use it now?
Well, what are we thinking? Is it like,
200 years
is it
later.
like that milk bottle in the fridge, where you look at the date and you go, oh, that's a bit close. You have a smell and you go, oh, hang on.
You should never use a
what do
milk
we-
bottle as a condom too.
This is unexpected, Alex. I mean, I look. I'm bold. I'm happy to use old things, but I suspect that those with me would be not as happy.
I would never use a milk bottle as a condom.
No, that would be uncomfortable for everyone.
Everyone concerned. Also, no, but I'm less concerned about. No, that's not true. Sheep's guts condom. Someone said, "Look, we've got a biodegradable condom." I'm like, "You have my attention." It's made out of a sheep's intestine and it's fresh. I'm like, "No."
And it has an etching on it of the beginnings of an orgy.
Well, then you have my attention again. Because I'm like, you bothered to do that. This must be a very special condom.
I
That's
feel
right.
like, you go to the pub and it's got like, you buy your condom and you buy this dodgy ass pheromones and shit like that. Like it's.
Spray this on you and you'll be banged to death before you leave the bar.
I feel like they put more effort back in the. So what year was
That's
this?
right. Roughly 1830 they've dated it.
This is late. Yeah, so it's not even the Dutch masters.
See, that's workmanship back then.
It really
the pride
is.
they took. Yeah.
I just assume this is a $10, $15 equivalent condom rather than a $1 sort of condom. Like that.
So in the olden money, today's money, that would have been, what, $40 million?
No, I don't mean that. I mean in our money, that's that, like
$15 for a condom.
Yeah, but who wouldn't spend that? Like they're like
Well,
I mean,
the
yeah,
difference
say
you
you-
can
if that's
have
all you've got,
you
like
can have some intercourse or you can have no intercourse.
Exactly.
Any man would go, 15, I'll give you 100.
I mean, obviously they're not etching it like
At the time.
a child is sitting there like it's a stamp, like they're stamping this on.
Not in 200 years ago.
Yes, they invented stamps 200 years ago. What do you
this would
think,
be a-
man?
There
They're
were no
line-
stamps
yeah.
in the Netherlands.
like it's a stamp. The Netherlands.
A lino etch. I mean, remember in art class, we get the tools out and you etch the lino and then you cover it in black paint and stuff.
So this is
and then you stamp on your condom.
this is a produced thing.
Big
Like,
assumption I went to art school. Whenever I went to an art class, I walked in, I went, you got to paint shit? I don't know how to do that. Like,
what?
and then I went and played sports because I was so manly. I reckon it's great. I love the amount of work that must have gone into making that intricate pornographic image.
But this suggests
fantastic.
also that there's probably a bunch of others. Like it suggests.
Yeah,
that
where are the rest of them?
There may have been an industry, and they're like, I'm getting, and maybe I'm getting the nun with 3 guys, or I'm getting the
guy with 3 nuns.
2 guys. Yeah, exactly. Or
Oh, you
Three
think there was a
nuns.
mystery box element to condoms back
probably
then?
not the 3 nuns. Like I think
No, the nun is a mystery box.
I don't think you need a condom for the 3 nuns. All right, I got a nice little story for you.
Okay.
Have you been driving along the highway and you've seen little bridges or little nets and wires going across the highway?
Yes.
To help the animals cross the highway.
Is that what they're for? I thought they were aerials to channel the government's electronic information into our brains.
Look, there's been a growth in various versions of highway bypasses for animals over the last.
What are they called? Wildlife corridors.
Yeah, well, wildlife corridor can be a bigger thing. There's big versions, like a whole like a bridge style thing that's got like trees and stuff like that on it.
Yep.
There's narrow versions that are like little wire bridges that are a smaller thing, like a possum could go across.
Yep.
Or we can do tunnels, small tunnels, big tunnels. We can do like a 1.5 meter tunnel under the road.
Would a culvert double up?
What's a culvert? Just technically, just
So culvert is basically a water pipe under a road. I found that out. I was in New Zealand a few months ago, and there were culverts with names, and it was like, this is Keith's culvert, and I'm like, it's a freaking piece of ag pipe under the road.
well, sure.
And then I saw the next culvert and the next culvert, and I thought, culverts mean something in this country.
sponsored.
God bless you.
Well, yes, a culvert would count
so
for some
a
species,
big
but-
culvert could work as one of these as well. Water
a-
and wildlife.
or a small one, depending
For your
on the
salamanders.
wildlife. Well, salamanders indeed. So while there are certainly a growth in these things around the world, there haven't been a whole lot of studies on if they work.
Oh no, you got to love that.
I know. Well,
It's a corridor for wildlife. Does it work?
Well, we could probably rely on anecdotal evidence, but this one was a very specific study. So, in 1997, environmental scientists looked at this place in Vermont, and in just 2 nights, they saw more than 1,000 amphibians killed by automobiles.
Oh, it was amphibians?
Yeah.
I said salamander at random.
Frogs and salamanders.
No way.
Frogs and salamanders. And so they petitioned for 2 underpasses constructed to facilitate amphibian passage. But the interesting thing here is because they were studying how many were killed on the roads before, then they could study how many were not killed afterwards. Yeah. And so there aren't very many studies of the efficacy of these. And I think this is just a nice thing. Over the course of the study, they found beforehand, in the night, they found 3,000 frogs, 2,000 salamanders, and 110 which could not be identified due to the damage suffered during the mortality event.
Reptile goop.
Squished. But construction of the underpasses. So this is just 2 underpasses on a 1.3 kilometre stretch of road, which not a mile, but...
In Vermont.
An 80% decrease in total amphibian mortality. I thought... This is a nice thing. This is the world.
Oh, there's a but coming.
No, there's no but.
Oh,
there is no but. So as well as frogs, these culverts, they were about 1.5 meters big. So they're a largish sort of pipe. No, sorry, like as in they're wide.
Oh,
so,
they're big ass pipe.
So bears were going through this thing as well. So
with salamanders in their mouths.
The interesting thing here is, obviously, when you get the big wildlife, this is saving a human life as well.
Yep.
Like if you've got a moose that wants to cross the road, you hit a car with a moose, there's danger there for you.
It's not good for the car or the moose.
So these were tunnels big enough for frogs and for bears. I don't know about moose, but
I'm thinking 1.5 meters not enough.
I just wanted to say that these things work. And this study showed an 80% decrease.
That's so interesting
in amphibian death. And I know everyone's like, but they're tiny. And it's like,
that's all right.
We care for the tiny little things out there as well?
I care for many tiny little
And these were only 2 in a 1.3 kilometre stretch. So it does seem, and they've got some advice for how you might do it better. So there's sort of a funneling process to get more of the animals in there.
But this is an unusual study because they actually bothered to check efficacy?
Mm-hmm.
That is classic. That is classic. It's got good feels. So people go, we built these things, they must be good.
Yeah.
Therefore, you wouldn't challenge them by testing them or evaluating them.
I think the thing is there's just not many places where there's before and after data. Like this was just that they happened to say, okay, this stretch of road, maybe it was between some rivers or something like that, or
I would imagine.
But they just said, okay, look, this is a place where we could test this kind of thing.
Yeah.
They petitioned for it. They got the information before and after, and they could see an 80% drop in frog and salamander death. So Look,
something good.
Every time you drive on the highway and you see these things and you think, are they doing anything? They are.
Yes, they bloody are.
They are. Yes, they make our life a little bit easier. We're not killing a possum or a bear or a
salamander.
Mm-hmm. But it's also nice for them. So there you go. There's a nice little thing for you.
We had that on a positive note.
There you go.
There's a whole new world.
Where's my button?
Push your button. Well, that was fun.
It's a bit of science.
Just a little.
A little bit.
Now, my question for people listening out there is, can you correct us?
Yes. How?
Can you tell us what we ought to be talking about instead of the garbage we have to come up with on our own?
Yes. How?
And regardless of what your answers to any of those questions, could you please give us a 117-star rating?
Yes.
On every platform.
How?
Even ones that don't exist.
How?
Oh, suggestions. Suggestions you should send to the email. What is the email?
cheers@littlebitofscience.com.au.
Is that an email address?
Yeah, a little bit of science.
All one word.
A little bit of science.
Little bit of science.
.com.au.
I could do that. Even I could do that. Which means you people listening out there who knew how to download a podcast could definitely do it.
Or your review platform. Give us a review and say what you want us to cover.
And if you want incentive, we'll come around and visit you and make you a beef Wellington.
No one can invite anyone over for a beef Wellington anymore.
They can if they're you.
No, they can't. I mean, I would love to have people